Alright guys, so tonight I went ahead and I decided to go over completing the square again. We didn't seem to really get it today. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go over it again, and hopefully this time it'll help you out. So, when we look at a quadratic equation, and I'm asking you to solve by completing the square, the first thing we have to do is we need to move this number right here over to this side. So I am going to add 21 to both sides. This will give me x squared plus 2x equals 21 and 3 is 24. Okay, so once I'm actually going to write this, add c to both sides. The next one, okay, I want to divide everything by a. Okay, well in this case a is 1, so I'm going to divide everything by 1, which you guys all should know isn't going to change anything. So I don't have to necessarily do this step if a is 1. The next thing I'm going to do is add b over 2 squared to both sides. So b, okay, I'm going to find b over 2 squared right here. Well, I don't have to take up more space down there. So b is 2 divided by 2 squared. This is 1 squared, which is 1. I'm going to add 1 here, and I'm going to add 1 here. Next thing we're going to do is I'm going to simplify the right side, which is going to be 25. I'm going to simplify the left side. I'm actually going to factor the left side. Now you can use Xbox or star method. It doesn't matter how you do it. I am going to show you a shortcut though. When I factor, it should be in this form. My answer, so what I get here, should be in this form. Now my variable is x, so I'm going to put my x here. And now I need to find b over 2. Well, b over 2 was right here in the parentheses. So b over 2 was 2 over 2, and 2 over 2 was 1. So I'm going to put plus 1. Now I've got it factored. The next step is to solve. But in solving, the first thing we're going to do when we solve is I'm going to take the square root of both sides. I have to do the square root because the square root is the opposite operation of the square. So it's what allows me to get rid of the square. So this becomes x plus 1 equals plus or minus. Anytime I take the square root, I have to put plus or minus, and the square root of 25 is 5. The last thing to do is to finish solving. So I subtract 1 to both sides. I get x equals negative 1 plus or minus 5. Now this can be separated into two equations. The first equation then is x equals negative 1 plus 5, which is going to give me that x equals 4. And then the other one is x equals negative 1 minus 5, which is going to give me that x equals negative 6. You can write your answers this way, or you can write them in set notation, which would be negative 6, 4. Either way would be acceptable. Okay. Example number 2. Again, same thing. Move c to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 4 to both sides. This gives me 2n squared plus 8n. I'm going to leave a space, and that's going to be negative 6. Now I'm going to divide everything by 2. I need to divide by a. This gives me n squared plus 4n, leave a space, equals negative 3. Now I'm going to find this b over 2. So b over 2 squared. That is 4 divided by 2 squared. 4 divided by 2 is 2 squared, which is 4. So I'm going to add 4 to both sides. Now I'm going to simplify the right. Negative 3 plus 4 is 1. And I'm going to factor the left. Again, when I factor, it's x plus b over 2 squared. b over 2 is going to come from what's in the parentheses, which is 2. So this is going to give me n plus 2 squared. Now we solve. Square root both sides. This gives me n plus 2 equals plus or minus. Square root of 1 is 1. Finish solving. Subtract 2 to both sides. I get n equals negative 2 plus or minus 1. That's going to be n equals negative 2 plus 1, which is n equals negative 1. Or n equals negative 2 minus 1, which is n equals negative 3. Okay? So, these are my two examples. I am suggesting, remember, I was lenient with some of the notes yesterday. Today it will not happen. You need to make sure you have the notes done. And that does not just mean these two examples. That means example number 3, you need to do on your own. Okay? And it also means example number 4, you need to do on your own. I will be randomly calling on somebody to do these two examples at the beginning of class for the warm-up. So be ready to go. And the other thing is, make sure that the completing the square 1 worksheet is done. Write down any questions you have, and also write down any steps. Excuse me, had a sneeze. Also write down any steps that you have. Okay? Alright guys, let's see who really wants to be able to do this project. I'll see you guys tomorrow.